Okay, I should be live. Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Kings. It's more Eternal Strands. Okay. Hmm. So, yeah, I think we, a lot of, yesterday. Um, did we upgrade any stuff or anything like that? I don't know, but we do have some stuff to talk about. Okay, I have something to talk about with everybody besides this person.
I am going to be poring through Lucia's notes for years.
Fascinating stuff.
Perhaps not to everyone, but she was a brilliant enchanter. It's not often I read a marginal comment accompanied with a lewd doodle and go, flames, that's brilliant.
A lewd doodle. Right?
I keep thinking about how angry those notes were.
Lucia's.
Yes, the tone was acidic, and she clearly felt she'd been betrayed. Not in the general sense. It was personal. I just wish she'd been more clear about by whom.
Okay. Actually, I don't think there's anything to upgrade, but I guess we can go check real quick. Oh. Flame, where do I get this stuff? Look at the armor difference. Years. Flame resonance. Where do I get the flame resonance? I can upgrade all my weapons. Oh, these are reforged. Arc of the Living. I have to go after that. Right. We did everything. Let's go after the Arc of the Flame.
Hey, Bryn. Sorry I got carried away with our errands.
It's okay, Kaz. What was going on with that, though? Are you alright?
Yeah. Sometimes there's so much to do, it's hard to keep my head on straight.
Maybe you should take a day to relax. Our ongoing disaster isn't going anywhere.
I don't know how anyone relaxes in here. What about you?
Me?
Yeah. What do you do to relax?
Yeah, that could get her in trouble.
You know, the forest around the camp is actually pretty nice. When I need
I
to
could,
clear
like,
my
get
head,
attacked.
I just take a short walk. The sound of rushing water from the brook is lovely. It always brings me peace.
The growl of a Kala stalking you in those treks doesn't pull you out of meditation?
Nah, it comes with the territory.
I'll stick to the campsite.
When all else fails, a nap always helps too.
For Ashar, maybe. As a Kashar, I don't need as much sleep as the rest of you.
Sure, but you need some kind of break from time to time, Casmin.
I'll think about it.
Do you read a lot of Scald's Tales, Kaz?
I do, as a matter of fact. When I can find a transcription. But I'll read just about anything I can get my hands on.
Any favorite storytellers?
Eloisa Farthing. She's a local writer back home. Actually, a lot of her stories are set in Dunbrennig. That's what I like about them.
I love how they use a lot of words I have no idea what they're talking about.
No matter where I am in the world, I can curl up with passages describing our rainy summers or stormy winters. And it's like I'm home.
That's beautiful. Though the weather in Dunbrennig sounds terrible.
It is. What about you? Are you much of a reader?
Of course. Nothing better than curling up with a book by the fire.
Huh. Somehow I wouldn't have guessed.
I think it brings me back to my childhood, too. Not a lot happened in my hometown, so I spent a lot of my time reading or listening to stories from travelers and veterans.
Any favorite books?
Ooh, hard to choose. But maybe The Perennial Skirmish by L.M. Saunton. A fictionalized retelling of Carnhaven's fight for independence from the perspective of an Auburn teenager whose parents are lost in the war.
I haven't heard of it. I'll add it to my list. Sola, Lane, and I have something of an informal book club on the go. We can give you recommendations.
Good to know. I'm surprised Dom isn't involved in that too.
He was, but his invitation was rescinded. The three of us would like to maintain a soothing mood during our meetups. He got too excited and spilled red wine on the pages of our first read, so...
I see.
They got drunk.
Hey, Bryn, keep an eye on Kaz for me, okay?
How am I supposed to do that one on the point?
You're worried about her?
The last time I saw her this strung out was during her point training. I was talking to Sola the other day. It doesn't seem like she's sleeping much.
I thought Kashar generally sleep less than the rest of us. Is it really that concerning?
Less sleep, not none. We all need to rest sometime.
You're getting no
When
sleep?
I asked Kasmin about it, she mumbled something about how she'd sleep when everyone was safe.
What is your definition of safe?
I tried to ask what she meant, but she didn't want to talk about it further.
That is concerning.
She's going to sleep at all.
I'll let you know if I notice anything. Don't worry. I'm sure Kasmin will be fine.
Nope, sounds like she's unraveling.
You're probably right. Just keep your eyes open. She seems to open up to you more than the rest of us.
Okay. Ark of the Living Flame. Nowhere to be found. Neither is the one thing, either. Alright, I guess we can go back here, I guess? What's my quest right now? Go into in the upper, okay. Fire. That's in the upper, did I wrong? Then the house bar is there, so we're gonna go to the guild district. I want that. Okay. Get those yellow guys. Oh, white guys, man. Those white guys are tanky shit. Where's the guy that moved so much? Stop moving, I'm trying to kill you. I do try to get the shield back, so. Up top, okay. Huh? Okay, so let's say I go down.
Should be dropped somewhere around.
We loot everything here.
Let's see. Supplies. That's good. More orders. Huh.
What's that?
Drops will be assigned to specific teams and tracked individually to deal with recent concerns.
That's boss talk for we're watching you because someone had their hand in the cookie jar.
Ooh, someone steal some shit. Alright, so I don't think there's anything else here I need. Yeah. Okay, so we can head to the Bastion now. Okay, head to the Bastion. Might actually go after that, the ice claw thing. Not sure if I should swap to ice, though. Try it without it, and get our ass kicked, and we'll swap over to ice. Now, why is there two of the stricken earth up? Bad statue? If that's what that was. Apparently there's 6 of them. See, one down there south. One north of me. See so far. Hmm. Uh. Shit. In combat. Nice.
Few sights are as impressive as a Highland ice claw mid-flight on a clear day.
Oh shit. How do I kill one of those things anyway? What's happening? What's happening? I'm out of its range? Can't damage it, I'm confused. Game, it won't... Just knocking me off. love how I just don't have enough stamina. Like, barely on it.
That's as far as I can push the scry.
Was not there for very long. Let me out! Let me out! Oh my god, this game just screwed me. Threw me into the goddamn fucking void. This game has screwed me twice. Oops. Why I have that on? You gotta damage one of its wings so it doesn't fly around like that. Attack here is going right through the wing. Can't stay on it long enough. Can't hit the wing. I don't know what to do. Like I said, it just cuts it out. Can't see what I'm looking at, game. Then we finally damage one of its wings. See if we can damage its tail. Damage one of its wings. I don't know what to do. Like, parachute while I was in the air. That's fun. Can't climb on it. It's just, the game's just like, no. Can't do it. Like, I'm literally physically don't know what to do. Didn't do anything. My stamina. Minus stamina already. Can't even do anything. Oh. What happened? I was on its wing. No, I'm not. I guess that's something I have to do.
Judging from the size, you've been
Give me. I don't know what to do. Killed me. The only thing left is literally the wing. I don't know what else is left.
If the keep housed the Enclave's war room, matters of high security were discussed inside.
Did we fucking kill it? That thing was hard as shit. Holy Divas. I did get a strand from it, just not exactly how I was hoping. Alright, how am I supposed to kill it? Let me guess, I have to go to the codex after this. Yeah. So this is where I'm supposed to go. Then I could use some more supplies, though. Healing stuff. But that shit fucking missed. I need to find a way down. Yep. Okay. You're full. Somehow it's not up. Okay.
Looks like a war room. It looks like the recorded minutes of the meetings that took place here. The last one is dated roughly 26 years ago.
What was it about?
A lot of information was torn off. Especially due to something they blotted over with ink. And the military commander should execute a defensive measure called asylum. Asylum. What could that be?
Scour the rest of the place.
Okay. Okay, 2 more spots for some purple. I needed this one thing, so now I just need that that'll work. This way go. Go somewhere. Leak right there. I'm going to
Should be a drop somewhere around here.
really use some more healing supplies.
Another notice. Drops must be completed
Come on.
and all runners to safety before the next predicted flood.
This confirms they have a way to predict and some way to stay safe.
Let's stay focused on our runners for now. That's all of them.
3 supply drops. Not a lot of answers.
I believe I can help with that.
Yeah. Like, we're off in the middle of nowhere right now. Don't know where I'm at on the map.
Enclave soldiers were select here during training.
Okay. It just leads me back up this way. There's a thing there. 2, 3. Missing 2 more. Probably one in the yard. Probably one in the lookout. It's either up top or it's down below. I don't. Itch. Most likely down below. Very surprised. Up. I don't see it.
Private chambers, perhaps belonging to the Bastion's commander.
Okay.
A letter to the commander from Khan Stanield. He signed his title beneath. The Eye. Times have necessitated an information blackout. The cause of the casualties must be purged from even the Bastion's most secure records. Furthermore, military personnel are to be separated from civilians, unless facilitating the evacuation from Denevron. If word of the problem's true severity spreads across the populace, panic will be uncontrollable. It is imperative that asylum succeeds.
It's stuck.
Picture.
That's funny. What are we stuck on? No, I basically can't go down now because this thing is stuck on something. Okay. I'm on fire, I'm on Just gonna destroy everything while we're in here. Path breakers. Okay, so that's the thing we were after.
Found a key swatch. There's a note with it. It says, Commander, it's ready. Use the harness to execute Asylum.
Another key swatch. Wonder if it will lead us to whatever the harness is.
Only one way to find out.
The key swatch is exciting, but it feels like there is more to discover about Asylum here in the Bastion.
Agreed. I'll keep looking.
Alright, so we're doing something called this right now. And this is just a complete accident. Like, I wasn't really meaning to do this. I came here for the, map. Apparently there's an under... Huh. Oh, I think it's here. These wood fragments have really gotten in the way of me actually playing. Oh no, I'm stuck. I guess we gotta climb up the old-fashioned way. Who would know that these elevators could actually get screwed over by some debris, I think. Not me. Alright, so let's go back towards the keep, which... doesn't want me to go towards the keep. Our inventory's like beyond full right now. There's damage in there for some reason. All the way down below. If we don't find what we're looking for, we'll pull it back up. Sure, they've got him over. Gonna destroy the damn floor. Go up top. Hmm. Let me go down. But how? Wasn't there an elevator over here somewhere? Yeah, here.
Some sort of access beneath the keep.
Garrison bunker. Bunch of. Yep.
Military workshop for enchanters.
The Enclave never used magic to expand its borders, but had to defend itself.
Against nations that thought otherwise.
Exactly.
I'm glad I'm not like permanently damaging anything because of this destruction I'm reaping.
Research notes from about 40 years ago, probably from an enchanter that worked here. Observing arc degradation. Looks like there was an expected and
Oh, shit.
amount of degradation observed in the arcs following the surge. But once the arcs start killing civilians,
Didn't know I did that.
it says this is a systemic failure. What could that mean?
It means the Arks weren't sent to attack us as a means of defense.
They've lost control over them.
A final note scrawled on the cover page. The Archons will be no use in Asylum's execution.
Bryn, all these documents you've collected, I might be able to piece together what Asylum is if you find out where that key swatch leads.
That's my next move, then.
Okay. Gotta drop another green, it looks like. I think that's it for the quest here. Yeah. Let's get the hell out of here. Like, we're full massively on materials. We've done a lot. Didn't get all the stuff here, but we can always come back and get the other little pieces of armor and stuff like that. Okay. Cross powers. Harvest the Strand to unlock a new cross mine. That's what we got to do. Innate damage through the shockwave. Flash freeze an area. Okay. I gotta kill one of those guys 2 more times.
Expected abnormal amount of degradation in the aftermath of the surge.
Hard to defeat the first one.
Looking over the notes from the Bastion.
Dated almost 40 years ago, contemporaneous with the surge. The enchanter who created the notes was quite junior. Most people who had actually designed arcs had died in the surge, it seems.
The best we have is a novice's musings?
The observations appear accurate, and the enchanter was careful not to draw any ill-founded conclusions. But good methodology cannot replace experience. It makes sense now that the Enclave lost control of their own constructs.
If we could help the Hearthsiders get on their feet, do you think they could regain control of the arcs?
Anyone who knew anything about the Ark's core design is long dead. A particularly innovative enchanter might have some luck with minor malfunctions, but the Arks aren't simply shut down or stumbling blindly in fields they once farmed. They've become violent, presumably even against their creators, and that won't be solved by something as simple as reapplying their grease.
There's no hope of regaining control.
With enough dedication, time, and research, anything is possible, but it won't be easy. Don't stay your blade just yet.
Okay.
The arc we followed through the Veil wasn't hostile. Any new ideas on what makes it different?
One possibility is that, since we know the Ark was being smuggled out of the Enclave, its deactivation might have insulated it from the Surge. Another option, according to her notes, Lucia tinkered with its governing schema. That may also have had an impact. We do know our little friend is quite resilient to magic in general. That certainly could have contributed.
The letters were untouched, but the Eye blotted out a lot of information from other documents I collected in the Bastion. Do you think the Enclave's leader was trying to hide the Ark hostility from his own people?
It looks
I'm
like.
not sure how you could hide the fact that constructs taller than a building have gone on a rampage.
That's what I was
Still,
thinking.
in times of crisis, paranoid governments have tried to bury all manner of scandals. And the Enclave certainly seems paranoid.
I guess there's still a lot of Arks smashing in my future.
For the time being, at least. Unfortunate.
Well, if we can't use them to farm, they make great scrap.
Relegating the Enclave's premier innovation to scavenged parts isn't a victory we should be celebrating.
It's something.
Better than nothing. There we go. I should be able to actually figure out what makes it tick. Hurt their legs. Okay. Haven't tried Mega Man yet? I'm still playing this game. You gotta hurt their legs, you gotta hurt their wings. Damaging a wing is best, but both will discourage flight entirely. Delicate balance. So, one wing, because if you do two wings, it won't fly. I'm guessing. This game stinks? I don't give a shit. I'm enjoying it, and that's all that really matters. Okay, so yeah, damage one wing and then damage his legs. That's what it looks like. Should be a lot easier than if that's actually what I need to do.
Yes, and if the R is with the numbers of false increment that just indicates spaces. Ah!
Got it?
Yes. I'll translate all that we have and we can discuss it with Casmin.
Good stuff, Lane. We need all the information we can get.
And valuable insight into post-surge society that developed here.
Those are the codex things.
This may sound fairly ridiculous, but the real draw of alchemy for me is how it grants me the ability to help people.
Oh?
Yes. I enjoy my little experiments, I'll admit. I enjoy synthesizing new and wonderful compounds. But mixing an unguent for the urchin girl by the canal with the flea bites on her legs? That was, I felt, a rather more responsible use of my allowance. Of course, the house would have looked down on that. The instruction not to mix with lower classes was implicit, but clear nonetheless. I even used alchemy to disguise myself so I wouldn't be recognized. I wore my hair in a stark white for a time, if you can imagine it.
Did you look silly?
Striking is the word I would use.
That's
My
what we're gonna
patients
use.
didn't mention it, and my apothecaries knew better than to make fun of their best customer. Alchemy is the science of change, and while I am happy to explore those changes both within and without myself, well, I think my natural color suits me fine for now.
Might change your mind. You never know.
Exactly.
Ignore that conversation. Alright, anybody else that wants to talk? Who does want to talk? Quester with her.
Well, Codebreakers, how are we feeling?
Satisfied. We have enjoyed reasonable success.
That's Lane's way of saying they crushed it.
Notes being passed between a brother and sister, quite candid, and dissatisfied. In particular with their boss, who they refer to as the Grumple.
The Grumple?
A Renlund myth, where ill-behaved children would be gathered up in a sack and tossed into the river to drown at the end of the year.
What the fuck?
Bye.
The Grumple, yes. Renlund fables prominently feature drowning as a punishment for children. The myth has fallen out of favor in recent decades, though. Ren society is less forgiving of flights of fancy.
The Grumple. Really?
Really.
Moving swiftly on. What else did the drop say?
Remember that ominous note about tracking individually in specific teams?
From the context provided by our hauler, we now know a significant number of Hearthsiders survived the surge.
But only just surviving. They relied on the runner-hauler teams. But supplies consistently went missing. There is also a sense that the Enclave was getting increasingly dangerous for the Scouts.
The floods, of course.
With supplies running thin, the supply teams were falling under suspicion of stealing.
This pair responded with the entirely reasonable, if exhausting, plan of overperforming.
I've done that job, Lane. Sometimes you just need to prove the ass in charge wrong.
Indeed. They collected a cache of rare items they were planning to turn in when they felt its size and value would erase any suspicion.
Do we know if they turned it in?
No, but we know what it was. Or is.
And that's where I come in.
Ooh, we go after a nice cache. I like some good caches.
After the surge, no one was even sure that anyone inside the Vale survived. Yet, clearly, they've been here in dire straits this entire time.
And we seem to be in better condition than they are, which is a little weird.
Why didn't they lower the Vale to seek help? Surely a few broken arcs isn't what stopped them.
Everything I found in the Bastion suggests the Enclave leadership was fractured after the surge. Maybe the simple truth is they were in over their heads.
I hate to think the Enclave fell so far from what it once was. What if... Never mind. It's silly.
Can't help but wonder what life might have been like if they'd lowered the veil.
Not just for them, but for all of us.
Wonder if they kept the veil up because if they would have let it down, the tangles that currently exist in the floods would have just expanded outside of it. Maybe they're doing a favor to the rest of the world by keeping the veil up. Never know.
No matter who you were or where you came from, the Enclave could be your home. After the surge, Weavers didn't just lose the Enclave. We were outcasts in every nation. Not that I need to tell you that. You sacrificed a lot to become a Weaver. The Veil served as a constant reminder that magic was the source of all the world's problems. A convenient scapegoat for every failed leader. And Weavers were an acceptable casualty. And the Hearthsiders just left it there.
So we need to find out why.
Most likely a reason. I guess it's probably because if they would have dropped it down, there would have been problems.
With the upgrades to her fort. I think she might want to...
We got a new bow. Ensnaring shot. Doesn't tell us what it does, just says it's an ensnaring shot. First internal flame. I don't know if I want to spend supplies on stuff I don't know if it's going to actually be good. So 14 armor, 25 weight, bonus health is what. Compared to this one's 27, this one's 14. 4 heat resistance versus 1. Nah. What's my, Heart Guard Circus? What's the difference between Heart Guard Circus and... We did get the Heart Guard, wraps, but there is the, this one. We're currently using, I think, this one's the Pathbreaker wraps. Pathbreaker, okay, so it's the same as this. Hmm. They look pretty cool. You weigh a lot. So I can't replace it. Okay. It's like none of this can actually be replaced until I. That which is probably not gonna happen. So it's good.
Brutish, yet elegant.
Which one is this one? So that's the one that needs to be replaced with stuff that needs to be pulled. This one. Leave this one alone now. This one can be replaced with this because it does increase heat. 2 Candace. More cold. Cold, but it's not anything actually better yet. This one's heat. These are all just straight up cold. Cold, cold. So this one's the right there. I get this one from Ark of the Living Flames, comic resource that drops from it. This one's also from the Ark of the Forge, which I have no idea what that is. Ark of the Arbor Blast. So that one just heats this one cold. So if anything, I should probably remove the cold, or find serrats from this one because it's probably not helping with the heat. This one's just more of an all-rounder. I don't know materials. You think I can upgrade? Upgrade this bow. Actually, before we do that, or like this item I need to craft. Find the rare parts at. They're a. Let's say how to get the rare parts, does it? Flame resonance, which I think I get from. No, this is the thing. Oh, I don't know where I get the rare parts from though. Flame resonance I can get from the Ark of Living. I don't know where I get the. And I can't like highlight it and go and like, oh yeah, figure out where the hell it's at. I don't know. The mysterious destination of this island, the key watch is now accessible via the Loom Gate. 2 Candace. 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 can go to the asylum now. Go after this guy and get the last version. Peter's Meyer. Everyone go after that. Island Ice, whatever. Arc of Living Flame is something I want to test though. Let's go get that. There he is, right there. I was stuck and couldn't move. That's not fair. Sure again. I don't have enough height. Enough stamina. One left. And he can just grab me. Okay, now we gotta get to the head. All right there, it's gonna let me let go in there. Yep, all that just for nothing. I'm it all over again. That's bullshit. I can't even do anything. That's it. Let's go up top to make sure we didn't miss anything that might have dropped up this way. I think that's it. I think that's it. Alright, did I get that Ark of the Living Flames thing? I don't know. Go back, find out. Flame Renaissance, no? Look it up. What do I need for this? Alright, it's called Lucius the... There is nothing on Google about it at all. Okay. I do. Because literally, like, I'm not sure where I found that it told me that that's not what I needed to craft. But apparently it's not enough to craft it. You get a bunch of legend materials from that thing, though, but other than that, not so much. Do I dare go after that? Go after this guy, though. I need to kill one more of him. 2 more of those guys, but only 1 more of this guy. Because I don't really know where he's spawning. Oh, these are usually, remember where he's usually at. The other side. Usually over there to the left. You notice I'm starting to get blues and purples from these boxes now? I wonder what, I'm guessing how far you progress in the stories before the game starts. Should be over there on this side. Yeah. How about that? Here. Means he must be like way down there. There he is. Continues to throw me off, isn't it? can't do anything. Being constantly thrown up. We can't do anything. No, a tail.
Another kinetic strand.
Full skull. Isn't too bad. Thought he used in that stupid bird. That's for sure. And the fact that this guy like drops like a ton of shit. Insane. There. I wonder what would happen if I start like breaking apart pieces that it dropped off. Like if I start like popping this. I didn't think so. Okay. I think that's it though. Unless like I'm not sure where we were at. We were probably going up and down this area probably a good bit. Did it drop any of that stuff like while we were down this way? Oh yeah. Got it all. Alright, it's 2 bosses. Yep, power upgraded. Weaver's grasp is now maxed out. Don't know what the difference is between the maxed out version and the not maxed out version, but there is that. Maxed out. That one's maxed out, and then this one we still gotta get 1 more. 2 more, sorry. Quest complete. Need 2 more of those, and I. One more of those, and I can upgrade that. What is it? What do I get from it? Oh, you get it from the sledgeworm. Okay, so I have to kill another sledgeworm to get 1 more. This one is already maxed out. The bow. everything I can replace to make it better. Got this one. This one. And I can put another legendary here, I guess, but it doesn't really add anything.
Going to need more feathers.
That's the one that upgrades I get that one from Counter Resist, Highland Ice Claw, and Ore Rich Boulders. Ore Rich Boulders. I love when I'm looking for cooling stuff. Like, I can't find cooling stuff. So I'm trying to look for ice stuff. I can't find any ice stuff. Or heat stuff. It's really weird. That would work here, but then I still need 2. Means that if I gotta find 1 more of those. That increase the heat even more.
Most people couldn't even stand straight wearing one of those. You, however.
This is cooling, cooling, cooling. All cooling. There we go.
Form and function. Nice to work on something a little lighter every once in a while.
What is he? This does. What does it do? This one's just straight up better.
If that doesn't keep you safe, I don't know what will.
Yes. Alright, say that's all I got. Oh, bow's definitely stronger. It's way more like interesting, unique looking too. Look at it. It's like white with this like. Alright, I'm gonna make sure everything is fire on my current build, right? Yeah. The fire one. And fire one. Alright, so couldn't go after you anymore. Could go after you. The skies are clear now. Could go after that. Flash freeze, I don't want to go there. There. Fashion we can go after, for the other arm stuff, but we want to go after the, Ice Claw. Oh? We're not? Back up? We're back, are we live? I'll center for a split second. This is OBS is that was weird. That happened in a long time. Alright, so we're after that Ice Claw, which is located, usually they're located by that center area over there, so we're here. I was gonna go after the Ice Claw, we should have swapped over to ice stuff, but can't change mid. But What? Who's this guy? Up top so we can get a better view. How this guy's located. The drakes usually are like huge and a pretty good spot. It's somebody, but I don't see the guy anywhere. Oh, there he is. How do I know when... I have no idea if I'm close to damaging the legs or not. How many more of these can I take? Dodge, because of stamina. Wing hasn't been damaged yet, which... I guess it just needs to crack, and that's all it needs to do.
Happy to weave that into your mantle.
Okay, I thought I had to like see it like explode and whatnot, but no, it doesn't look like that's what it is. Is that it? This guy did not drop shit. He dropped 2 things and that was it. That's kind of depressing. Wait. So I just got a chatter where it looks like have like cracks in their legs and a crack in one of the things, and then I think because I can't really tell any other difference. Alright, so just gotta get one more of those guys and we're have it. Hey. I got 2 of these guys. Do we go back to the Bastion to get the other items? Good. Down south. Going up by the garrisons at the lookout, or the yards where the next one. Let's head towards the lookout, I guess.
The cold seep right into the stones here.
This is why we use wattle and daub back home. Insulates properly.
Oh, there's a flash freeze going on here? Oh shit, if there's a flash freeze here, then I can't actually do anything. Not in my sphere. Is there really a flash freeze here? I can't tell now I'm here. Alright, let's just go. That sucks because, I didn't see that it said Flash Fleet.
Where am I? Underground.
Barrier almost looks like the Veil.
It must be the one Lucia wrote about in her notes.
And the panel looks like our scry. Anyone know what it is?
No idea.
Similar design to a scry, but it looks like it's a permanent installation. Like it interfaces with the room. Could this be the harness?
Must be. It seems like Asylum involves sealing away whatever's beyond this barrier.
With this discovery and everything else you found, I should be able to piece together what Asylum actually was.
You go mess with it? Alright, so now just want to leave, I guess. I just gotta come here and discover it. Well, I guess this is probably the endgame content area. Or it could be the midway point, who knows? Haven't even found the outsiders yet.
I know we need to discuss the barrier and its potential ties to the flood. But want to give me a rundown of the research first?
Of course. Years after the surge, there was an inexplicable spike in casualties.
You don't think it's due to the arcs going hostile?
Well, that may be part of it, but we can't be certain due to the information blackout. All we know is that it nearly wiped the Hearthsiders out. What seems to have saved them was Asylum's execution. A defensive measure that involved sealing the underground behind a magical barrier.
Almost like the Veil.
Exactly like the Veil.
So the Enclave didn't just hide information from the rest of the Mater, but their own people as well.
Judging from the secrecy and a few of the letters you found, I would guess that high-level officials were paranoid. Clearly, not everyone was in favor of this measure, and some might have wished to thwart it.
People like Lucia.
And a dissenting group known as the Verdant Minds that she had ties to, though it's entirely unclear what those ties were.
You said the casualties spiked long after the surge. Can you elaborate on what might have caused this?
This is truly the thousand-fairer question. With the information blackout, I can't find a concrete link to the cause across hundreds of pages. Arc hostility could certainly be a factor. Clearly, numerous weavers were killed by their own defenses. The recorded minutes from other meetings in the war room illustrate a long period of geological instability following the surge as well. Aftershocks and earthquakes and... well, not to mention the outskirts grew more dangerous each year as the creatures were allowed to breed unculled.
Love how they said earthquakes. Doesn't make any sense. I don't think you're on Earth, so they wouldn't be called earthquakes now, would they? They'd probably just be called quakes.
But these threats seemed to plateau in the early years after the surge. There is no mention of the spike that resurfaced and prompted Asylum.
That's so strange.
It is.
Khan Stanild gave the orders to execute Asylum. Do we know anything else about him?
Judging from the series of letters between him and the commander, it would seem that, at the time, he was recently elected. And judging from the frequency with which he followed up on the commander's progress with Asylum, this defensive measure was a key pillar in his political platform. He seemed to grow increasingly concerned with his popularity among civilians in the most recent letters.
Ugh, isn't that kind of slimy?
Leveraging a security crisis to consolidate political influence? Yes, it's incredibly slimy and effective.
And the commander? Do we know what happened to him?
It would appear that Asylum was executed successfully, so perhaps he is still alive. But until we find the Hearthsiders, we can't know for sure.
Haven't found them yet.
It's got to be where the Hearthsiders went, right? Remember, the letter mentioned they were evacuated from the city.
To an undisclosed location. We have no real confirmation that they are down there.
Yeah, but we've searched
But it
everywhere
would
else
make
around here.
sense, wouldn't it? After all, asylum can mean shelter or safekeeping.
It can also mean prison. I know everyone wants an easy answer to where they went, but something just doesn't add up. You would think there would be at least one document linking Asylum to the evacuation of the city, and there simply isn't.
So, back to the barrier. Think it's the one Lucia was trying to take down?
Yes, the very same. She was right, too. It's causing the miasma floods. The raw magic that off-gasses from the Veil is what causes the tangles to cluster at its base. In speaking with Darm, we theorized that this second barrier could potentially be doing the same thing. Except in a more pressurized environment, like, say, within a barrier of kinetic magic.
We don't get small pockets of raw magic like tangles. We get floods of it.
Precisely.
So we need to remove Asylum's barrier to stop the flood.
Yeah, but what's behind the barrier?
Lucia's thimble could
Even
undo
worse.
the barrier, but we don't have the parts to build it yet.
Those parts just became essential.
Okay, can you tell me how to get those parts? That'd be great. First, the larger cache below the tattered mantle and the lower Denevron. Looks like I gotta do that. Okay. But we're kind of running out of quests here. There's a drought, but we are wearing our heavy armor, so that should heal. Which side are we spawning on again? Bitch, I thought we were spawning down below, but I'm not sure if we are or not.
All this light stone is reflecting the heat.
It would be so much worse if it were absorbing it.
Because then you couldn't walk anywhere. There's one to my left, but we found out we can't get over there until we get that thing that allows us to, like, fly-ish thing. We could go straight and get the one that's over there by the Denver Market. Then we can go down the one that's underneath the aqueduct. Then that would be it. Let's do that. Who's that guy? I don't need to kill that guy. He's not my person I need to actually focus on. And the heat wave is kind of intense. Let's attack him right now. Oh, this guy. Where's your invisible butt come from? Come on, stamina. Tunic. One item that's like that. Alright, so now we need to head over to the west side. We don't run into that one guy. Off the stick. Off the stick. See if we can go up instead of going through, because that guy's right over here. I can hear him walking. No, it says I have no idea what the hell that. Giant nest, it looks like. We'll fuck with it. Okay. Many explosions going on here. I don't even know what's going on. Out of this. Need to head that way.
My mentor used to regale me with stories about the Iron Walk after a long day.
Lob a concentrated form of frost magic. Then a foe moves too close. If a foe moves too close.
Artisans, metal workers, and crafters also had stands here, though the smiths were by far the draw for travelers.
Oh, I saw collectible over here. I'm going crazy. There was a chest or something. Gotta keep heading this direction. Should be right here somewhere. Where? There. Is that who I think it is? After all this time, now you're trying to kill me? There was a... oh, here it is. Flame sword and shield. I have an ice shield, and I have a flame shield. Alright, so all that's left is that one down there that we can't get. Now I gotta figure out where the hell we're going. Now we're going that direction. And I got a gigantic glass tail on my ass. Go against it unless I kill it. Of course, picked up the wrong thing, obviously. Another one of those things. Jesus Christ. What, do droughts just have those things spawn more often or something? Is that what's happening? Damn. Get down. Okay, buds. Damn. These guys have to be immune too. Go down! $31 damage. These guys are tank fests. Finally.
Everything all right?
Yeah. There's just so much. Oh. And a letter. Encoded like the others.
Of course it is.
Can't wait to work it out.
So is that it? Yeah. That's it. Alright, get out of here. Yeah, but those droughts, and those little firebug thingies that being everywhere is not good. Friendly. Not so friendly.
So, the letter. I'm prepared for bad news.
How did you know?
They were collecting supplies for other survivors. We know someone is out there. The supplies never made it to them. That, and the tear stains.
Is that what that was? Yes, well, there's a lot to cover. We have the cache itself and our scrounging siblings.
We should at least give you the high-level details on both. Where do you want to start?
What did the final note say?
Yes, right. It was a farewell. One sibling disappeared. The runner.
I thought the runner of the pair was the one we found.
So did we. But this last message was a farewell to his sister. Apparently the Grumpole...
Really?
I know. But apparently their boss had been ordered to stop wasting resources on the search.
And so our hauler left this farewell, hoping his sister might find it, on the off chance she was alive.
He was going to remove all their other messages so their plan wouldn't be found out.
We postulate he was on his way to do that, when...
When the flood caught him.
These people, however many are left, they've really been through it.
They might really need our help.
They're still organized and have a command structure, but it sounds dysfunctional.
You guys want to get involved in that dysfunction?
Is there anything we could do you think?
Sadly, no. But their story will live on in our chronicle.
Did we confirm they weren't actually stealing from the Enclave?
The letter seems genuine. I think their plan was to bring in a big haul.
It says a lot about the Hearthsiders that our siblings thought this would clear any suspicion.
How so?
The cloud of suspicion tells us they were in dire times, tightening the screws on their own people.
But bring in a big load and we trust you. Doesn't that sound a little like a bribe?
So you think our runners were dirty?
No. I think the system's dirty, and they're just stuck working through it.
I'm not going to say the name, but do we have any sense of who was giving their orders?
The Enclave's leader was called the Eye, a first of firsts, after a fashion. Elected from the masters of each craft, the High Smith, High Enchanter, and so on. Unfortunately, we don't have any details about their direct superior. I will spare you the name.
Let's move on to something else.
Of course.
Talk to me about the supplies.
They did astonishing work. If I weren't sure they're both gone, I'd hire them.
Indeed, a robust collection, including several enchanted objects we barely recognize.
They had a keen eye for things that could decay and took care to preserve them.
You two sound giddy.
If there's one thing Lane and I are passionate about, it's preservation of rare objects.
That's enough about the cache.
Sure.
So, where do we go from
What
here?
are we doing next?
Good news. We compared notes with Dom. We found parts that will let us complete Lucia's thimble, from those schematics you decoded.
It has been a busy time. Solo will handle the assembly, of course.
I suppose the only other thing to say is, good job, Bryn.
Indeed. We have made progress in unraveling the shape of what the post-Surge society looks like in the Enclave. Further, these documents are invaluable to the historical record.
And maybe you put a couple souls to rest. Not to be sentimental.
So she's the most sentimental of everybody here.
All right. Let's go over everything we know so far.
We know that, for a time after the Surge, civilians continued to live in Tenebron until they were forced to evacuate the city. We're still not sure the cause.
Wherever the Hearthsiders went, they're still actively sending scouting groups to scavenge for supplies. From the uniform, the creeper who was watching Bryn sleep belongs to one of these groups.
We also know that a defensive procedure codenamed Asylum sealed access to the Enclave underground. This was done using a barrier almost exactly like the Veil.
Lucia, an ex-High Enchantress, opposed Asylum and began working on ways to sabotage it.
Her research forecasted that the barrier would cause the Enclave to flood with miasma. The very same flood that seems to have killed Lucia before she was able to finish her thimble.
But we have her design. It could disrupt Asylum's barrier.
So Lucia's thimble is the key to our survival.
It's less a key and more like a magical battering ram.
Whatever works.
What is it, Lane?
It's just, I've pored over all the documents we've compiled, and a concrete link between the evacuation plan and the underground is nowhere to be found. I can't shake the feeling we're missing something.
The Enclave destroyed a lot of information from their documents. Could that be why you can't find a link between Asylum and the evacuation?
I considered that. The Enclave may have hidden their location from Lucia.
Being a weaver isn't about being certain all the time. It's about taking calculated risks to carve a path forward. And regardless of the Hearthsider's location, disrupting the barrier is the only option to stop the flood.
As far as we know.
You're right. I just hope that if we did miss something, it doesn't come back to bite us.
Even if it does, we will handle it.
That settles it. Bryn, it's time to use the thimble.
Is it? Because I don't know how to actually do anything with it. Apparently I have the stuff now. Didn't have it before, but now I have it. Okay.
Thank you for your help with that, Bryn. You've a deft hand for flame magic. You can wear Sev's apprentice hat for one day. Also, Lucia knew what she was doing. This thimble was clearly designed to pair seamlessly with Enclave constructions.
Must be her experience as a high enchantress at work.
Based on Lucia's notes and what we discovered at the Bastion, this was custom designed to disrupt Asylum's barrier.
But not the actual veil
If it can
itself?
stop the flood, we need to use it soon.
Agreed. We don't know how much time we have left.
We could be dead already. And we could do a... Oh, we gotta talk to everybody. So we got this new sword and shield. It does fire. You know what I could do is I could scrap the other one I have. Instead of just making it weapon damage, I could make one focus on cold resistance, one focus on heat resistance. I don't know if it still passively affects... Maybe it does. I'm not 100% sure. Let's dismantle. And then let's go to craft. Go to flame shield. Let's go to give me cold burst. Nope. Cold burst. Then cold. It does both. Don't focus on heat. Heat. Finished enchantment when empowered by a wielder's magic. This shield can plant a timed flame charge on impact and push the foe away for a timed explosion. Or two to use it. Like, if you really just want elemental protection and have no armor, that's the run to go. We're kind of doing the exact opposite. We're kind of doing, like, more armor and less protection. So... these are at 178, but I can't tell if that's actually better or not. Could upgrade this.
Not as protective, but great against the elements.
What we got?
You know, there's one silver lining to the sad tale of our deceased runners.
And that would be what?
What's that?
We know the Hearthsiders still have some advanced production capabilities. The materials they were gathering don't have much use for basic survival. Therefore, weapons, armor, and enchantments.
Any concerns about us claiming them?
None. They've been there long enough. Scavenger etiquette applies. These kinds of materials are too rare to let go to waste.
And I've kind of, like, used them already.
The Iron Walk. Hilda told me all these amazing stories, but seeing it in person, wow.
Although she says seeing it in person when she's actually never seen it in person, she's only seen it through through the thing, with me being there, so
Sorry.
it's not she had actually seen it.
Oh, my mentor. She visited the Enclave regularly before the Surge. I apprenticed under her for a few years.
What did she tell you?
The noise from the forges made sure you'd only have the smiths and their clients around. But on an average day, some serious coin would trade hands. The Enclave's smithing culture was such a draw, it started to cause tensions with the other nations. It didn't help that the Enclave would actively poach the best and brightest. They had deep purses.
I've heard stories of that. Some of the Carnhaven masters had moved and never returned after the veil went up.
The Surge was horrible for everyone, of course, but I reckon a few smithing guilds were happy to not have the competition anymore.
Making the best of it, I suppose?
And make the best of it they did.
Oh, we can now upgrade places.
So, a shame to lose such prodigious runners. They were really very good.
The Hearthsiders have had it harder than any of us expected.
They're not better than me because I can literally run around the
Shan't
town,
let their
kill
efforts go to
everything, and
waste.
not have any
Lucia's thimble
problems.
is within our reach thanks to them.
Not just within our reach, we have it already. I have it already.
Have you ever wondered why the Veil is, well, called the Veil?
Because the developers were from Dragon Age, and they decided to use that terminology from Dragon Age?
No. I don't think I've ever thought about it.
Obviously, nobody outside the Enclave knew that it was going to appear, so when the surge hit, everyone near the Veil was essentially vaporized. The first travelers to witness it all said the same thing, that it looked like a mourning veil, with tangles gathering around its base. A simple description, but quite evocative, wouldn't you say?
And that's where the name for tangles came from too, I'm guessing.
Correct. Their existence had been theorized previously, but they required massive amounts of raw magic to form, non-existent in the wild. Until the surge, of course.
I'll try and keep clear of them. Thanks for the history lesson.
Anytime.
Okay. Wait, how much do we actually need? 150, 100. So 250? That went a little bit too far. Oh. The only difference is that she's closed the doors this time instead of the doors being open. Wait. There's a level 5, so apparently we're not far enough in the story yet. 24 available slots in your pack, and the Scry will be able to pull up to 7 resources safely. Jasmine will be able to trade camp supplies with the Hearthsiders for resources. I haven't actually run into the Hearthsiders yet, so... Weapons and armor pieces to level 4. I haven't even got stuff upgraded to level 2 yet. Oh, some of them to level 2, but nothing level 3 yet. Keep reforging stuff. Probably gonna start upgrading stuff a lot more sooner, though. Got 2 defrost files and 2 flame files. Okay. I can go through frost or flame areas often. Level 5 is probably the max.
Our supply runners might be why there are so many crates gathered around the city.
Why do they reappear now?
Dom and I have a theory. The arcs might still be partially functioning.
So, when they're not trying to kill me, they tidy up the place?
Like I said, a theory. But that was a big part of what they were built to do.
Sola seems pretty pleased with the upgrades to her forge. I think she might want to thank you, Bryn.
We just talked to her. Okay, do we have to go one of these guys up to Nevron? We only need to kill one more. I think we do it. And then we'll go do the Archon's perf. Clear weather. Upper Denver has one more fucking teleportation thing, and I don't know where the hell it's. Probably up top somewhere by either Spire, probably. I keep going to the guild, but I know it's not going to be at the guild. I don't know. Okay, I guess we'll just go straight over across. I'm gonna kind of avoid just run past these enemies because they're loud. Killed me.
Can't stretch the scry any further.
Almost died of that. Hello, buddy. Stuck. I'm stuck. How about everybody and their grandmother right now? Where am I going? This is where the guy should be. Trying to see if that one thing's actually over here, not over there by the spire, which... Sure. What is that? I'm in the spire, but I don't see anything. Travel point. Something over there. Gotta get over there though. Is it? There's supposedly another fast travel point here. Can't. Yeah, there's like just no maps that exist. There's one for the asylum. Here's the upper. Benevolent. Asylum is more of a quest. Interesting. Here it is. Finally. Yeah, it's up there by the thing. It's right here. Thought there was gonna be one here, but I just didn't know where it was. It's up there somewhere. I think I gotta get over there. Opening. I have no idea where the boss is. Am I supposed to go over here somewhere? Hearing gigantic wings.
A loom gate near the spire. Probably for the Enclave's council members. Might not be one myself, but I'd better grab a key switch.
Okay. There we go. We got this place on lockdown. What am I? Okay. There it is. See where that leads. We go back this way so I can where the frick that flying dude went. Okay, respawn. Where this fucking bird went? Oh no. Where'd it go? Where the fuck did the bird go? Stop flying around. Full on supplies, and I haven't even killed the fucking thing yet. Originally why we came out here was to kill the thing, and I have no idea where it's at. I hear this thing flying around. I hear this thing flying around. I just don't see it. Moving on here. Where the fuck is it? Especially when I can hear it so clearly. I honestly have... Not bug. I wish I knew where I was going. don't see it. I don't know that. I'm gonna go to the other side of the But maybe it had like a nest over here or something, but it doesn't look like it. I honestly have no idea where the fuck that thing went. It literally vanished. Might just go up this fucking tower here just to see. Let's see if I get better sight on it. I spent too long in this area and not found it. I hate how some enemies aren't in the same areas that the other bosses are. It's weird. I guess the walking bosses have an area and then the flying bosses have a different area, and it's just how it kind of works. I think. No comment. This did not help me in any way, shape, or form, did it? Really don't want to head back empty-handed. Can't see shit. Yeah, I don't know where it went. Saw it flying over this way, and then I could hear it flying over this way, then I just... Yeah. No idea. Ow. Like, I'm all the way back at the beginning. Back to the guild, yes, and see if going over to the riverside will change it. I see it. Lose sight of it. Lost sight of it. Ignore everybody else. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? And we lost it. Never to see it again. I going over this direction and then it poofed in thin air. I said, it vanished. I don't see this flying guy. Oh, there he is. How's he going? He's pathing. Oh, jeez. We're dead. We're so dead. We're so dead. Dude, how do I get to the fool? He's over by the spire now. Did I just see him leave? Ah. Granted, at any moment he could be flying over to the right and getting out of here, so I catch him. Hear it. It. Where the fuck did this guy go? I'm dead. GG's. He just threw me off the cliff. He just threw me off the fucking cliff. I can't find the guy. Like, I physically can't find him. He's nowhere to be seen. I don't know what to do. Fuck it, I guess. If you have time, and just, hopefully we can find him on another location that's not like this, or the Dyer's March. Even though Dyer's Mire is whatever. Dredger's Mire, I think is what it's called. A little bit easier to find him there. Never the Nevron is just impossible to find him. Okay, so this is just go to, Fashion, it looks like. Yeah. we'll continue the story.
That console that looks like our scry should be...
I'm gonna use the restroom real quick. Be right back. Okay, I'm back.
Controls for the barrier. The thimble was built to interface with it.
Time to disrupt Asylum.
Let's hope this doesn't make things worse. With my luck, it probably will. Mash it into the console? It can't be good. He thought, oh, that was a good idea. Hide down here. So, just let something bad out.
Great timing. I owe you one.
You need to come with me. All of you.
All of us? If only you would have just told us not to do this instead of just giving us messages and not really telling us jack shit. How are we supposed to know that what we did was not a bad thing?
We mustn't cause a panic.
Sure. It's not like we had a dire supply shortage on our hands before this happened.
What do I tell the High Enchanter? The Guild will want...
Enough. We won't discuss this further. Not in front of our guests. Identify yourselves.
Aurea Harpene, or Silverbeak, as I'm known among Weaver circles. This is my band, and beside me is our acting point.
Bryn. And you are?
Khan Stuneld, Eye of the Enclave. My colleagues are the Spindle and the Axle, representatives of the Enchanting and Crafting Guilds. Who sent you?
Sent us?
Taza? Renland? Udea? The Enclave is the envy of the Maida for its magical prowess.
50 years ago, maybe.
Clearly one of those nations has finally grown a spine and decided to take it for themselves in our moment of weakness.
Moment? No one sent us. We came here by accident.
What kind of fool do you take me for? You expect me to believe that you bypassed our veil, infiltrated our loom gates, and breached asylum without a national power backing you?
When you put it that way.
This is a misunderstanding. We're Weavers, like you. There was a brief opportunity to enter the Enclave for the first time in decades. And we took everything we've done since we arrived has been to uncover what happened here after the Surge. And to find you.
If that is true, have you really no inkling of the trouble you've caused?
No.
Your reckless conduct has unleashed an enemy that nearly destroyed us 27 years ago.
The Surgeborn. They first appeared a little over a decade after the Veil went up.
Where did they come from?
No one knows. But they arrived in the Underworks before making their way to the surface.
Where they left a trail of destruction in their wake and wreaked havoc on the Enclave.
Causing casualties to rise.
And so I called for a retreat here, saving countless lives. We sealed the Surgeborn in the Underworks for good. Until now.
We've been here a little while now. Don't you think all of this could have been avoided if you'd properly said hello?
She's right.
This is hardly our fault.
How is it not your fault?
Look, Surgeborn or not, we had no choice but to remove the barrier. Though, I suppose we owe you thanks for warning us about the floods.
Who warned you?
You did.
Did we? I'll deal with you later.
While we can agree Arakin breached no contact protocol, it has proven to be the right decision. The floods were growing worse, and now they have stopped. Even if fixing them has introduced a new problem.
One my band would be more than happy to help you solve.
Ha! Work together.
Or die separately.
Sorry
No.
to interrupt, but you mentioned your last name earlier. Any relation to Sharian Harpene?
She was my mother. You know who she is.
Of course! I mean, before my time, obviously. But she's still renowned in the Enchanting Guild. Her work is remarkable. There's a statue of her in Denevron, you know?
Oh. I can't believe she didn't mention that.
We found that statue, though.
There is so much I'd love to ask you, but for now, Aurea comes from a long bloodline of outstanding and renowned weavers. Shouldn't that buy her band some grace?
Her bloodline is the only thing that gives us grace, not the fact that we've been destroying a lot of shit in our wake.
Your presence in the outskirts will be tolerated. Nothing more.
I don't think you can really do anything other than tolerate us. You guys take on a bunch of Archons or a bunch of Arcs and other giant beasts single-handedly? I don't fucking think so.
What about the Surgeborn?
What about them?
Shouldn't we work together to deal with them?
We could use the help.
The Surgeborn are a problem for anyone in the outskirts, not us. Cassidon's Hold is a fortress.
The scouts do head into the outskirts to scavenge for supplies.
We'll take our own precautions. Speaking of, we have pressing matters to attend to.
But
Enough! My word is final.
Bryn, The one that led us here is clearly the one that warned us. Try to talk to him before we leave. Maybe he's willing to work with us.
Will do.
He's also the guy who's watching us sleep, which is a little creepy. Talk to you. Can't talk to you.
Hey, Arakim, was it?
Oh, just call me Arik.
Well, Arik, I never
You
got
took
a
someone
chance
off.
to thank you. You know, for grabbing me before I fell to my death.
I think you had it. Besides, I couldn't let you plummet into a chasm.
Didn't we have our a person that could have pulled us out anyway? Because that's what her whole deal is. So we wouldn't have died anyway. We would have just been pulled out.
The Eye is pretty peeved with me, but hey, that's just a bonus.
You and the Eye don't seem to get along very well.
What gave it away? The mutual contempt? The Eye doesn't like anyone who shows initiative or challenges him. Unfortunately, those are my main qualities. And I suspect he perceives them in you, too.
Yeah, I didn't get the impression he's my biggest fan. Will you be in trouble for saving us?
I'd worry if he ever decided to get off his throne and do something about it. But he finds that throne very comfortable.
So, are you glad we're here?
I'm thrilled you're here.
I have to say, I'm surprised.
Oh, yeah. Sorry for all that cloak and dagger stuff earlier. Khan Stanild had me on strict orders not to make contact with your Weaver band. But it was the right call. From what I just saw, your presence here is having an impact.
How so?
Notice how the Axle took my side against the Eye earlier. That never happens. And the Spindle is as quiet as a mouse most of the time, but not today.
Aha. So these are big changes.
It might not sound like much, but they're excited you're here. Stanild can tell too. That's why he backed down so easily. And that's why I'm glad you're here.
So you're not upset that I breached Asylum, like your colleagues?
I've been pushing to do something about the Surgeborn for years now. Setting them free wasn't great, but sealing them in the underworks indefinitely was never a good solution.
Especially when it was just causing floods and killing people. That wasn't really a solution.
Frankly, I
Like a
think Khan
stopgap.
Stanild is just annoyed you undid his one claim to fame. I guarantee he has no plans to do anything about the Surgeborn now that they're free.
Of course not.
You don't think he sees them as a threat?
He's got his head in the sand about a lot of things.
You seem awfully trusting of us, considering the terrible first impression we've made.
Well, I was spying on you the first time we met, so let's call it even.
Sure. Maybe you know everything already then, but have you got any questions for me?
Just one. Why are you here?
Growing up, I saw the Enclave as a symbol of what Weavers lost after the Surge. After all, we have no home to return to, and we're pariahs in most nations. But the longer I'm in here, the more I realize how much your people have lost too, and still stand to lose. I'm here to help, however I can.
That is exactly what I was hoping you'd say. If that's truly what you want, then dealing with the Surgeborn is the first step. Ever since the Veil went up, our people have been in crisis. They've spent so long in it, they're afraid to do what it takes to get out. It doesn't help that some have benefited off that same crisis.
Who?
Who always benefits? The very top. Our leaders are too preoccupied with their own concerns to form a unified front against the Surgeborn.
Such as?
The Spindle is obsessed with getting the Arcs functional again. She believes that will help us regain control. And the Axle is too stressed about our supply shortage right now. But if their concerns were handled, they could pressure the Eye to finally address the Surgeborn.
That sounds like an opportunity. And are you a representative yourself? Do you have sway?
Representative, yes. Sway? No. I represent the Scouts, meaning I'm at the meetings, but I don't have the title to back me up. The Scouts were once points like you, but our role has changed since the Veil went up. We were effectively drafted into scavenging for food and supplies. It made sense following the Surge, but it's been years. Recently, we've even been separated from Cassidon's hold and the remaining civilians.
Because they think they were holding and keeping supplies.
Anyway, it's the guild leaders who will need to pressure Khan Stanild into dealing with the Surgeborn. That's where my people need your help the most. Then we can start fixing the deeper issues we face.
Sounds like I've got some palms to grease.
Yuck. But yes, I'll come by your camp later. We'll be able to speak more freely there.
Okay. What are those guys talking about?
What is that about?
The Eye isn't one for idle chit-chat. That's worth watching.
Talk to you back at our camp.
You got it.
Sev, you all right?
No. I mean, yes. I'm fine.
You sure?
Bryn, the rest of us are heading out. See you back at camp.
I got to go.
That's gonna cause an issue later. Awesome. Okay, I saw a codex page. Here's... That's their scry. I read this.
Need I remind you that your access to Cassidon's hold is restricted?
Oh. I didn't mean to intrude.
You would do well to mind yourself, newcomer, or risk losing the privilege of coming to Cassidon's hold entirely.
Or we could just kill you and be done with you. I mean, what? Okay, I can talk to him.
So, you.
Me?
The one causing trouble. The one poking into corners. The one who hasn't the good sense to leave well enough alone.
Had you allowed Arakim to reach out to us sooner, this could have been avoided.
Arakim has a proven record of poor judgment on matters of protocol. I will not be lectured by the person who put us all at risk on how best to handle our security. But I'm being... Let us start afresh, please. Share what you hope to accomplish by loitering around the hold.
Loitering around.
Before we met, it was clear from my exploration of Denevron that you have sourcing issues. Your lack of production capacity was obvious. We can help with your shortages.
A caravan of 7 is going to supply a fortress of thousands. What's next? You'll turn water into Sansa mead? Though you are correct. Sourcing has been a consistent problem since even before we abandoned the capital. We have hundreds of trained scouts, but wooden swords and paper shields are hardly going to mount an offensive. So despite certain assertions that we must do something, we lack the tools with which to make any great strides.
Like it or not, I'm here to help.
The Enclave stands on a blade's edge. Stretch our resources too thin on risky ventures and we face collapse. Certain elements of our population call for action, for bold purpose. And I ask you, what purpose is bolder than survival?
Well...
Purely rhetorical. We must survive, and we must make considered, careful moves if we are to do so. There is no sacrifice too great towards that goal.
Yeah, there is. What if you sacrifice every single person to survive? Then you didn't really survive because everyone's dead.
You, at least,
there are
understand the
sacrifices
precarity
too
of our
great.
situation. Now understand the necessity.
I do, but...
Thank you for your time.
But...
You may go.
Kind of a dick, aren't you there, my man? I think that's all of the stuff.
I am simply telling you, as the foremost leader of the Enclave, that I don't want you getting distracted.
Can you clarify what you mean by that?
You know exactly what I mean. Eyes down, know your place. Focus on your...
Know your place.
Organize your little craftspeople. Keep the wheels of civilized society greased. And don't dare to presume you know better than me.
Last time I checked, you aren't actually like the full-blown leader. You're all elected. So you actually don't really have any real say over her.
If you have a problem with my performance, you are welcome to gather feedback from the people who elected me.
Like I said.
They may have a clearer understanding of what I bring to the table.
We'll continue this conversation later.
Hirun, Khan Atme, allow me to formally introduce you to Bryn, the Weaver Band's point.
You're the Axel, right? Arakim says you're a good person to know.
I am. My given name is Harun, as Arakim said, but you may refer to me as Khan Atme.
What the fuck's the difference? Why do you have a given name and then a different name? Is the other name your title?
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Then you also have the Axel as a title. So
despite the circumstances.
Where's the actual position, not a title?
And I wish they
I don't
were
know.
better circumstances. The new Surgeborn threat requires us to realign our priorities. Some are a little slower on that than others.
If there's anything we can do to move things along, I'm at your disposal.
What about the supply shortage? I've seen her in combat. She's better than any of us.
What's her help look like? I'd prefer if she could avoid unleashing another apocalypse on us.
We didn't bring a lot with us, but if there's anything we can provide to you, our quartermaster, Casmin, will be happy to help. A decade working the maiden shipping lanes turned her hard as Khan steel.
She sounds lovely. But unfortunately, we're supplying 10,000 people, not 7 weavers and their pack beast. And I doubt you'd have enough on your caravan to make much of a difference. Fortunately, there's a silver lining to your Surgeborn mess that could solve the problem.
Count me in.
Right. With the Surgeborn unleashed, we're anticipating casualties and damage to our facilities. However, there's a restricted area in the underworks that we lost access to decades ago when the Eye sealed it. The Institute.
Oh, the Institute,
An arcane laboratory where the Enclave conducted its enchantment research, among other projects. Inside the Institute lies a significant supply cache. Its contents will be enough to keep us going, for the time being. If the notes the previous Axel left me are accurate, though, there's an additional complication.
Of course.
The Surgeborn secure territory by building structures, akin to insect hives. The Institute is likely overrun with them, and has been for 20-odd years.
So, the Surgeborn are a long-standing threat to the Enclave.
I wish I were old enough to remember what it was like to live without the fear of the Surgeborn. As a child, I sat awake every night worrying about them. They were terrifying. Knowing what I know now, I should have been even more scared.
I'm sorry you went through that. It must have been horrible.
Thank you.
All the more reason to actually do something about the problem.
That was weird and
Instead of spending our
weird thing to
lives
say.
cowering behind the walls of our
Thank you
glorious fortress.
for saying that horrible thing to go through. It's like, okay.
You'll hear no disagreement from me, now that the game board has been upended.
Sounds like I need to clear any Surgeborn hives from the Institute, then.
That'll thin them out enough that my scouts will be able to access the supply cache without much trouble.
Now that Asylum is lifted, we should be able to access the loom gates in the Institute again. I'm going to trust you with this key swatch. It's been gathering dust for over 25 years.
Only the Eye would let such a crucial resource sit there for that long.
Yes. If we're clear on everything, I'll get back to work. My list of obligations grows by the minute. Someone has to keep this goddamn fortress running.
What's your history here? Have you been the Axel for a long time?
Why do you care?
You seem like someone who deliberately underplays her hand. I'd hate to play a game of Panjal against you.
All right. I'll take that as a compliment. I was elected to this seat 8 years ago. I've done a good enough job to be re-elected.
What made you decide to run for leadership?
My predecessor was incompetent and took bribes. The guild members tolerated it for a time, but eventually enough was enough.
Bribes in this time? When the world's freaking ending?
I never seemed to have a problem with it, though.
He was probably greasing palms.
Do you think he's taking bribes?
You really aren't afraid of asking dangerous questions, are you? I personally haven't seen any evidence of his corruption. He believes in his own judgment too much to accept a bribe. It's easier to bribe the lower-level guild members anyway.
Isn't that a bad thing?
The wheels of society must needs be greased. If they do any more than skim a little off the top, I'll come down hard on them. And that's why I've managed to keep my job. Well, part of why, anyway.
How's your working relationship with the Eye? Is he your superior?
He would like to think so. His seat casts the final vote when the council cannot make a decision.
But his seat has more power than that.
Khan Stanield wields power beyond the traditional bounds of the Eye's seat. Yes, but he is our savior. So surely he must know better than any of us. Which is to say, he is technically the highest ranked official in the Enclave. But he hasn't faced an election in decades.
Huh. Why not?
In contrast, I have, let's call it, popular support.
So, what does an Axel do all day?
It varies. Some of my predecessors have been very hands-on, as befits a representative of the physical trades. That's not my strong suit, though. So I end up with my beak buried in paperwork. Maintaining supply lines, as it turns out, is considered extremely helpful.
That all makes sense?
Oh, I can talk to her again.
All this wreckage scattered throughout the room. Why haven't you guys cleaned it up?
Khan Stanild ordered us not to.
And that's because he wants to keep it messy?
Correct. Speaking frankly, my impression is that he wanted any visitors to feel as if we were still in a major state of crisis, though visitors are few and far between. Upper government officials only, all of whom are working from offices with roofs. We are the lucky few over here, it seems. What a privilege it is to work in a building that is open to the weather. I understand the motivation of wanting to wait until we'd found everyone a place to live. But we achieved that 20 years ago. Thousands of survivors rehomed. And yet, I still have to step over puddles to get to my desk.
Maybe you guys should come together and say, yeah, we're fucking not being here anymore. Like, no, what do I know?
Before Asylum, all the loom gates were reset so that the Surgeborn couldn't use them to continue spreading. How did you reconnect to the city?
We tracked down a key swatch to Denevron. Found it in the mayor's home in Poldervale.
Your band is quite resourceful.
Aurea leads one of the most accomplished bands in the Maida. We could learn a lot from one another if we pooled our knowledge.
That is tempting. But the Eye wouldn't be pleased if he caught me speaking to your band any more than I have to. No offense, but I should really get back to work.
Excuse me, but Arakim mentioned you're the Spindle, a leading representative for the High Arcanists.
Oh, yes, that's correct.
We wanted to formally introduce ourselves. I'm Aurea, as you know. This is Dam, our enchanter, and Bryn, our acting point.
We didn't catch your name earlier. Khan?
Just call me Isla. Is there something I can help you with?
We'd actually like to help you. Apparently you want to restore the arcs.
Shh! Not so loud. Sorry, that sounds wonderful, but the Eye won't be happy about us collaborating.
Come on. You must know better than anyone how integral the arcs are to the Enclave. Why let the Eye's political games stand in the way?
I do know that, I mean, and I don't. I do want to fix the arcs, more than anything. I just need you to be quiet about it.
Okay. We'll try, but forgive us if our excitement bubbles over and we forget.
It's Dom. He's the one that might forget.
We know that the arcs began malfunctioning after the surge. A select few were even
They're
sabotaged.
whispering.
Any idea on what caused the other malfunctions?
Some theories, but nothing solid. Anyone who knew how to create arcs, let alone fix them, died before I was born. I've tinkered with an inactive arc that's lying near the Grand Gate, but it would make a world of difference if I could study a resonance that was freshly harvested from a great arc's pattern.
Consider it done.
Bryn's got you covered. She has a knack for harvesting great archons.
You'll have it in no time.
If you're sure, I certainly would appreciate it. With discretion.
Right.
We've been talking a while. You'd better go.
Okay. High Attunement grants visibility on which great creatures of the Archons is at location. To search for a Great Archon, check the Loom Gate menu. I gotta go do it right away, because apparently those that I currently have in my thing isn't good enough. Alright. Part of the innovation known as the Institute is now accessible via the Loom Gate. This is also a thing, which we don't know what it really is, and there's also the Institute on top of it, so I'm not sure what the difference is between the two, but... So there's the Living Flame, which you can go get. Over to Nevron, there's this guy, probably can't find him. So I guess we just gotta go to the Bastion then, huh? I'm hoping he's just over to the right. That same nest area. He's not. Stuck. There he is. I heard this. Cross two-hander. Hey, bud.
Remember, you needed to harvest a resonance from one of these massive arcs.
Get off this thing. I don't understand. I guess we're on this now. Okay. One more. Where are we going? We're coming up that way. There we go.
Perhaps this will be enough to dispel her nerves.
Only one way to find out.
Got everything. Okay. I wonder what the... We can go back to the Cassian hold. Hasn't even been 15 minutes yet. I don't think it's actually been 10 minutes, to be honest. Wait, where's the Cassian's hold at? Wait, how do I get to the Cassian? Do I go here? No. How do I get back to the cat? No idea. Back to home then. I'm not sure how to get back to Cassian's hold.
Hey, you all right?
Yes. There's something I should have told you, so I'll just come out and say it. I was born in the Enclave.
How is that possible?
Oh, luck or tragedy, depending on your perspective. Before I was born, my mother and father lived here happily for several years. But they decided it would be better if my mother raised me with my grandmother and great aunts for the first few months of my life. So she left with me when I was just a hatchling, with every intention to return.
But the surge happened.
The life I should have had was lost for good. Because of all this, I never knew my father. I don't even know his name.
Is it common for Oberon hatchlings to be raised apart from their fathers?
No, but it is common for extended family to be involved in the raising of children. As you know, I come from a long line of weavers, many of whom traveled in caravans their entire lives. It was apparently quite a shock when my mother fell for a Hearthsider.
So your parents were looking for a compromise when it came to raising you?
Exactly. And I wouldn't trade my childhood on the road. My great-aunts and my grandmother made me who I am, after all.
Still, you missed out on your father. It's natural to wonder about him.
I suppose.
Isn't it a little strange your mother never told you his name?
She was separated from him so suddenly. She had no chance to say goodbye. My mother's a strong woman, but whenever I asked about him as a child, she could only manage a few words before her face would crumble. She found it too painful to discuss, and I never wanted to pry.
But now?
I can't help but wish I knew who he was.
Does your family have something to do with your attachment to the Enclave?
Being here has meant a lot in some ways, and in others, it's very different from what I expected. Meeting the Hearthsiders was a lifelong dream. But the circumstances of our encounter? Not what I'd envisioned.
Knowing now that this is your birthplace, I can see why that would be disheartening.
This was meant to be my home, after all.
This is definitely a twist. I feel like you could have told me sooner.
I am sorry for that. You need to be able to trust me.
So why hide it?
Talking about difficult and private matters is not my strong suit. And frankly, I rarely see the point in dwelling on the past.
I guess you and your mother have that in common.
Ha. You might be right.
So, we're going to find out who your father was.
You would help me?
Of course. Maybe Lane would have some ideas on where to start.
Actually, I had an idea myself. The spindle mentioned a statue of my mother. It's clear the Enclave commemorated their champions. I can't shake this feeling my father is among them.
You did destroy one of those by accident. Maybe that's who it was.
You think there's a statue of your father?
I know it sounds strange, but the handful of times that my mother spoke of him, she described him as this great hero. Since she was one herself, is it so crazy to think she might have meant that literally?
Maybe not. I can scope out the statues in Upper Denevron for a resemblance, if that's what you want.
Good. And thank you.
Okay.
Bryn, I'm glad you're here. I need to talk to you.
What's going on? You look pretty tired.
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just about those 90 Drake scales. I know Arya said we don't need them, but she just doesn't understand. It's dangerous out here, you know? Especially now that these Surgeborn are loose. We need to be prepared for anything. It's just gnawing in the back of my head. Do you think you could do it?
You haven't told me why we need them, or better yet, why we need 90.
We want the best gear and weapons, don't we?
So Sola asked for these?
Not exactly. They have other uses too.
Seriously, when's the last time you slept?
Kashar don't need as much sleep as Ashar or Casil.
But you need some sleep.
It's been a while. Maybe 10 days. Or a week. I'm fine.
10 days since you last slept.
I'm guessing Aurea doesn't know you want me to go drake hunting. Do you really think it's a good idea for us to go behind her back?
It looks bad, but she just doesn't see what I'm seeing.
To be honest, I'm not sure I see it either.
Please, just trust me.
Kaz, you need to tell me what's really going on here. I want to help, but the drake scales? The Weaver Band is okay. More than okay. We're in the best shape we've been in since we entered the Enclave, now that we've made contact with the Heartsiders. Besides, the caravan is looking pretty full. It's not making sense.
You think I'm insane?
No, of course not.
Era's breath. I shouldn't have brought this up. But you just don't understand. Everyone could die if I don't... It would be my fault.
I know she's not good with pressure and all that, but she seems to bring pressure with her. And creates it out of thin air.
Whatever this is, please just tell me what's going on.
No. I shouldn't have burdened you. Sorry, just... go.
But Kaz...
I can't talk about this anymore.
Casmin is not okay. And I don't think bringing her more stuff is the answer. I'd better talk to Aurea. Hey, Aurea. About Casmin.
I know. I'm worried too. So is the rest of the band. Let's talk at the archive, privately. I'll join you and Lane in a moment.
All right. So, Aurea, what do you make of the Enclave Council?
Their living history. What they've seen, what knowledge they must have preserved. All this time, they've been here, holding down the fort. It's great you've offered to help the Axle and the Spindle. Just be careful you're not going over the eye's head.
Honestly, I've seen his type before, and I don't trust him. He's slippery. We need to respect the leader of the territory we're in, Bryn. He's led the Enclave during a crisis. The rules change. He knows more about the Surge, the Enclave, and arguably even magic. Because while we've been outcasts, he's been here. At the heart of our culture. It's something we need to respect.
To a point.
I'll try.
Not blindly.
Good.
Aurea, I'm curious. Why the sudden interest in finding out more about your father?
He was trapped in the Enclave my entire life. This is the
He's
first
still
chance
alive.
I actually have to find out who he...
Right. But I guess what I mean is, you really never tried to find out more from your mother.
I always had this sense that it wasn't something she could discuss. There was a heaviness in the air when his name came up. She was in love with him. And then she lost him in this cataclysmic event that no one could have predicted.
That must have been unimaginably painful.
Yes. She wasn't a tragic figure, though. She carried it well. You'd never know she was in pain. And truthfully, I had such a good life with my mother and my grandmother. It wasn't like I felt he was missing.
Until now.
Until we arrived here, yes. Something about this place just makes it clear how much I've lost because of the Surge.
Being here makes me wonder. If the Surge hadn't happened, would I have been forced to leave home to become a Weaver?
You become a Weaver in the first at all.
Most certainly not. You would have been a valued member of society, not an outcast. Did you have a good relationship with your mother?
I probably take more after my dad than my mum, that's for sure. But I love her all the same.
She gave you a good life then?
Oh, the best. It was hard to leave it behind.
My mother and I had our ups and downs throughout my life too. As daughters get older, we understand our mothers better.
Any chance our mothers understand us better with age too?
She'll come around to the weaving, if that's what you're worried about. She loves you after all.
She does. I know that much.
Okay. He wants to talk again. I don't think there's anything to upgrade.
I don't want to talk about the scales anymore, but the Hearthsiders look more traumatized than a beast of burden after a hurricane.
What? Why would you say that?
I would think someone who grew up in the wake of war would recognize the signs. disorganized and unable to triage their own problems. They're overwhelmed. Suspicious of us despite our clear good intentions, suggesting paranoia. And while their leader is in deep denial of the very real crisis the Enclave is in, the others accept it. They've been stewing in turmoil for so long, it's become their new normal. And it's probably more comfortable for them than the prospect of change.
You're right. They do remind me of some veterans back in Carnhaven.
Saw it 1,000 times over while working in Udea. Aurea may not want to hear it, but these people are completely lost in their crisis.
I spoke to Aurea earlier. She certainly does want to give the Eye the benefit of the doubt. I'm not so sure it's warranted.
Aurea has a case of hero worship when it comes to the Enclave. She can be blinded by it sometimes.
Huh.
It's not to say great things didn't happen here. But at the end of the day, the Hearthsiders aren't gods. They're fallible. Just like us.
Okay.
Kaz, you know you can talk to us about what's going on, right?
Nothing's going on. I'm fine, I promise.
You don't seem fine, though.
It's just, no one seems to understand how important the Ashpeak Drake skills are, and bad things are going to happen if we don't... You know what? I just can't talk about...
What happens if I give her 90 scales? Like, what happens then? Will she be happy? I don't think so.
It might sound callous, but I'm a little disappointed in the Hearthsiders.
They're in worse shape than any of us expected.
We're kind of in better shape, to be
They've
honest.
done so little to repair the wonders that surround them. How can a society once renowned for its genius become so far removed from their own innovations?
Well, they're worried about surviving and keeping 10,000 people fed than they are fixing structures.
Ever as great as we all believe they were, or if it was just...
Some myth to keep Weavers going after the surge.
Exactly. Something for us to believe in, whether or not it was true.
There is probably a mix of truth and legend in our stories of the Enclave.
Always a little bit.
Nothing's black and white. Isn't that always the case in history?
Yes, I suppose this could have been expected, but it's rare we have a chance to confront history in person like this. I'm just not sure what to think anymore.
Just keep your mind open.
So, what were you speaking to the Eye about?
Nothing. I just...
You're making it seem suspicious, my friend.
Talk about it.
I didn't mean to pry. I just wanted to make sure you're okay.
You want to know if I'm okay?
Yes?
Then how come no one is at all concerned with the fact we can't leave? This isn't my life. Traveling with a Weaver band was supposed to be temporary. For me, at least.
You've been here for less than 2 weeks. Calm yourself.
Things I should get back to in Tarza. And it's increasingly clear no one has any idea when I will. If ever. So no. I'm not okay.
I'm so sorry. I had no idea you were feeling this way. You're right.
It seems like he's having a mental breakdown.
I am?
The truth is, we don't know how or when we're getting out of here. But if you want to leave, we should have made that more of a priority. Or at least made you feel more heard. So we'll work on it. Promise.
Really? What's the catch?
No catch. Apprentice or full-time weaver, what's important to you is important to all of us.
I don't know what to say. But thanks.
Seems like these people are getting stir crazy. Or maybe just going crazy.
And then, Sev and I realized we might be able to repurpose the carapace for more than just loom gates.
Uh-huh.
Purely theoretical right now, but I'm contemplating tangle-resistant gear, or even a protective layer around the caravan.
Dom, I'm a little busy trying to look over these Tarmakine schematics again. Do you mind coming back later?
Oh, okay. Oh, you're right. We can discuss theoretical magic anytime. I'll leave you to your work.
Oh. Hey, Bryn.
Everything all right? Things between you and Dom seem off lately.
Yeah, a bit. I'm not sure he understands what my work on the Tarmakine smithing techniques means to me.
Have you told him how you're feeling?
It feels like he's so wrapped up in his own discoveries that he's not hearing me.
He is easily distracted, but maybe you should try again. If there's one thing I know about Dom, it's that he loves you. He must care about your feelings.
Then why isn't he asking about them? Sorry, this isn't on you. I'm just frustrated. I need to do more than just tell him what Tarmakine means to me.
How so?
I need to show him. By investigating Tarmakine practices, maybe I can make some headway on restoring these techniques. Then he'll understand.
Hey, I'm always down to investigate lost knowledge. Especially in the name of love.
You'll help me?
Of course.
Amazing. I'll ask the Axel if she knows anything about Tarmakine smithing in the Enclave.
Great idea. I'll meet you at Cassidon's Hold.
I don't know how to get there. There's that. We got a new sword. A slash. Kind of like the Ascending Strike. Kind of removes a lot of the thing. The, whatchamacallit? Shields from people, but I don't know if that's just a chance happening, or if I, like... If I build another one, can I do it too? One has 20 extra heat resistance. 35 versus their current weapon. 43. So even if I did make it be worth. If I had one more of those, I could do it.
That wasn't exactly the warmest welcome. I'm guessing the Enclave Council isn't your biggest fan right now.
Not a great first impression, but I can bring them around.
Even the Eye. He seemed pretty peeved.
Hey, if I can help his people, he won't have any reason to hate me.
Whatever the Council thinks of you, I'm glad you're trying to help them. I think they could really use it.
Yeah, they don't seem to be in great shape.
Nothing our daring point can't fix.
Could upgrade this. Could upgrade this. Could upgrade this.
I think you and I are the only ones here who can swing one of these. Oh, and Sev.
That's all I can actually upgrade. Alright, so we did some upgrading. Our weapon's even more powerful. Oh, did it actually change? It did! Our weapon actually changed how it looks. I didn't know that was a feature. I was not really looking at the actual look of the weapon when I was upgrading it, but... And that has like this weird, like... disconnect. Like, connects by magic look to it. And then, like, it doesn't look like it's just a piece of, like, rock connected to a handle. Now it looks like it's actually been sharpened on the edge. It's golden, handguard and then golden handle. Interesting.
When was the last time?
It's safe to say Casmin hasn't been acting like herself. She's always been tightly wound, but this is something else.
Bryn, she seems more open with you than most. Can you describe in detail what's abnormal about her behavior?
She's begging me for more supplies, even though the caravan is chock full.
Not that we could tell, because she's covered it up.
More than that, she just seems distressed. She's always talking about worst-case scenarios, and lately it's like she's convinced we're all going to die.
I have heard rumors of abnormal behavior developing in Kashar that could be linked to this.
What kind of rumors?
In polytheistic beliefs that are pervasive in the southern part of the Maida, there is an affliction known as Ira's Plague. The sufferer is haunted by twisted visions of death and pain. The goddess of justice, Ira, won't allow the sufferer inner peace until they repent through scrupulosity.
Scrupulosity? What is that exactly?
Oh, my apologies. I forget most people don't follow UD in eschatological study. Scrupulosity can be best described as a series of repetitive acts that one is compelled to do. For example, if Casmin is plagued by relentless images of our band dying from exposure,
she might send our point out over and over again to retrieve supplies.
Yes, in order to dispel the horrific visions.
All right. Casmin is suffering. We need to do something about it.
Skipped it. Can't go back.
And preemptively? No exorcisms?
Hardly. This is likely nothing more than a condition that has been stigmatized by religion. A scientific explanation must exist, and thankfully, we are in the heart of progressive thinking.
You think the Enclave could have done research on this?
Makes sense. Where should I start looking?
The steps in the upper city is where I'd start. Between the main building of the spire and the atrium used to stand a school for alchemists. From your explorations, the surge hit that area pretty hard, but some of the building may still be standing.
Great. What am I looking for?
Maybe the name of someone who suffered like Casmin, or a healer who treated the condition. If you find someone like that, you'll want to search the areas of the city where they spent time. Ira's Plague is wildly misunderstood across the Maida. If we could find a treatment, it could help more than Casmin.
You're right. I'll start with the steps, then expand my search.
Okay.
Bryn, I have to say, I'm a little concerned about you.
Me? Why's that?
I don't think you know what you're getting yourself into with the Enclave Council. You're not just helping them, you're diving headfirst into their political affairs.
Lane, if I can fight an Archon 10 times my size, I can handle a little bureaucracy.
That's exactly my point. I was raised in the midst of political schemes and intrigue. There's always something unsaid or underhanded at play beneath the surface. Just be careful. That's all.
I got you, right? Go keep an eye on my, political stuff, and I'll keep my eyes on the stuff I can kill.
You won't find Oria's father running amid statues, you know? What do you mean?
You know what's most likely to get in the way of tracking down one's lineage? Family. A scholar wants to trace a family line to find connections between key historical figures? No problem. A living relative wants to find their great-grandfather using some oh-so-precious family heirloom? What a headache.
Why?
A scholar is objective. They have no emotional attachment to the family line, no sense of self wrapped up in the results of their study.
And you're saying Oria does?
I'm saying she needs to expand her search beyond Weaver heroes. She's not searching for family there, she's seeking identity. And without objectivity, her search will turn up nothing.
We aren't all defined by who our family is. Aurea is just exploring her past. Who says it has to be some big reflection on her sense of self?
It doesn't have to be. But I've done a lot of ancestry for people that come from families as successful as Aurea's. If she isn't assigning some greater meaning to all this, she'll be the first I've encountered.
I'll keep that in mind.
Food for thought, at least.
She still has more stuff to say.
One of the greatest tragedies of the Surge is the loss of stories. The Enclave might not be that old, but with so many dead to the Surgeborn, their memories most certainly died with them.
I can understand that.
Oh?
My parents' generation tend to stay quiet around the fire. Whatever stories Khanhanders had were beaten out of us by public lashings and prison camps. And we haven't had time since independence to start telling new ones.
Ah, yes. Bryn of Carnhaven. I almost forgot.
Wait, like what Darm called me? You were listening?
I always am. Habit born of a Udean upbringing, I suppose. But, yes. I suppose the similarities are there, aren't they? A population whittled down by catastrophe. Stories lost. Did you ever have the urge to press a little harder? To try and learn just one or two stories? Even if it was painful for the person telling them?
I would have liked to. It was hard, though. I learned more about our folklore through silence than through words. I was born after the fighting ended, but we still hadn't fully rebuilt by the time I left home. I found a couple of skeletons, as a kid, out on the steppe. People who'd died fighting the wall, exposed by the wind and the rain. There's a story behind those bones that will never be told.
I can only imagine how hard it must be to adapt to the new normal of no longer being under an empire's yoke. Even more so when you fought so hard to gain that independence. If we ever travel back to Carnhaven, I'll try and record some stories, with your help, if you'd like. Sorry, is that too presumptuous of me?
No, of course not. You never know where the Weaver life might take us.
It's a date, then.
Holy crap, she still has more?
I took a break from work earlier to watch you on the scry. The way you take down those giant beasts, it's breathtaking. Poetry in motion, even. If you weren't already journaling your exploits, I'd be dedicating page upon page to them.
I don't get to see myself from the outside very often.
Alas, if only I were an accomplished artist.
Too bad. I want to see what I look like when I'm exploring places that haven't been seen for decades.
Even without pictorial aids, you look brave, confident, powerful, ready for anything.
You had those adjectives ready to roll. Been watching me a lot.
Yes, it's what naturally came to mind, promise. Words are more my specialty, as I said.
Okay, that was a little creepy. I think that's it. What kind of quests we got? Consult with the spindle. Go to the institute. And go to the axle, also in the hold. This one's go to the upper Denevron. This one's goes to the upper Denevron. So I got two in upper Denevron. We got. We go to the hold. I can. Apparently, I can only go to the hold from here. It won't let me go from anywhere else. Strange. Alright, it looks like we are at 4-hour marker, so I'm going to call the stream good for today. I hope you guys liked the stream. If you guys did, please hit that like button, subscribe. If you guys want to see more, do stream every single day. I'll be on tomorrow as always, so with that, follow your watch, Kick or Twitch, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.